about this specific issue with Roe v. Wade. Everything you said, Kev, was legit. You know, I fully agree with that. And I'll take it a step further. The
But
overwhelming majority of people aren't gonna like what I'm gonna say, but I don't give a shit
yeah,
because
don't give a shit. Yeah.
this needs to be said. It's not just about the right wing and their ideology, even though obviously it strongly is. But to me, it points to an even deeper issue, and that's the issue of religion.
Hmm.
All of this boils down to the fact that people on the right wing and even some on the left, or supposedly on the left,
Supposedly.
believe some bullshit theology, which ironically does not support their view. There is literally okay. So before I say what I'm going to say, these people, America is a largely Christian country. The overwhelming majority of people in this nation are Christian. On my street that I live on, 79th Street,
Yep.
churches all up and down this motherfucker, despite the fact this is one of the worst neighborhoods in the entire nation.
Yep.
But on top of that, in the Bible, there is not one single passage that you can find that explicitly states anything about being anti-abortion.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact,
Really
yeah.
interesting.
But I'll go even further. My favorite passage in the Bible honestly could be interpreted as pro-abortion.
Pro-abortion.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a passage called 1 Samuel 15,
Hmm.
verse 3, where, okay, get this. This whole passage highlights how bullshit Christianity is and all
Hmm.
of religion, all of theology, all of theism is.
Hmm.
Pretty much, long story short, Samuel has a conversation with God. God tells Samuel to tell Saul, yo, bro, these Amalekites over here, they've been on some fuck shit. So here's what you gonna do, right? You're
Hmm.
gonna go in there, you're gonna kill the king, you're gonna kill everybody up in that motherfucker. And it specifically, explicitly states kill all of the children and all of the babies.
Hmm.
It explicitly states that. All the children and all the babies. I've brought this up with so many Christians, and they make all
Hmm.
types of bullshit ass excuses. Well, no, the Amalekites were evil. They were terrible people. They were people
Hmm.
that were against the Israelites, so they sinned against God. I don't give a fuck. It says that God says to kill babies, okay? Even if I granted you that genocide was okay, which clearly it's not, even if I granted you that racism was okay, which it's
Yeah.
not,
No.
how the fuck do you justify killing children and babies? Didn't we just have these mass shootings? Didn't we just have this mass
Yeah.
shooting in Uvalde where a
Yeah.
motherfucker came up in there killing babies? What if he said, God told me to do it? You're going to say he's wrong, but what about your weak ass book that told y'all that God does exactly that?
Exactly.
That's in your weak ass Bible that it says to kill babies. If that was really the source of your beliefs, y'all would be pro-abortion according to your logic. To your
Yep.
logic, your bullshit theology. But see, that's the thing. Who the fuck reads the Bible? The
Mm-hmm.
Bible is boring as fuck. It's convoluted as fuck. It's super crazy, immoral. It's inconsistent as hell. You can find a stance for anything you want. If you're anti-gay, there's something in there for you. If you're anti-drugs, there's something for you. If you're pro-drugs, there's something in there for you. If you're
Mm.
pro-gay, there's something in there for you. As and then here's the kicker. Here's the kicker about that specific passage, 1 Samuel
Mm.
15. First of all, Saul goes in there, kills motherfuckers. He kills the children and babies.
Hmm.
But God gets angry. But no, he doesn't get angry because he killed children and babies, because, why would God care about killing children and babies, right? No.
Mm-hmm.
He gets mad because the dude spared the king, and
Mm-hmm.
because the fucking dude did not kill the animals. Instead, he wanted to keep the animals for himself. And get this. So God tells Saul, I'm going to take your kingdom away from you,
Hmm.
banish you out of here. And then it says, God regretted his decision.
Hmm.
So God makes mistakes. God has poor judgment. He's a disgustingly horrible communicator, because
Yep.
why would he tell Samuel to tell Saul when he could just go to Saul and tell Saul to his face, yo, I need you to do this. But
Good question.
but off that, back on this. See, here's the thing, right? I'm pro-choice. We're pro-choice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not necessarily pro-abortion, but I'm pro-choice. Because
Mm-hmm.
here's the thing. The reason why I'm pro-choice is because it is a necessary procedure to ensure the quality of our collective health. Okay? We have contraception, which a lot of people refuse to use, which is a problem in and of itself, especially considering the fact that after this, now they want to go after contraception, which is this, I can't comprehend it. But the mere fact that these people are basing their views on some bullshit, that's why honestly, is it religion? Because that's what they say. But see, this is the reason why I went to a Christian college. I attended a Christian college because I wanted to learn to understand the religion. I wanted to understand the book, but the more I learned, the less I understood. So if it's really Christianity, then you Christians are not real Christians, because you don't even know your own weak ass book, because you clowns don't even read
Yep.
the shit. You just go to church, you listen to what your weak ass pastor tells you. He don't know shit. Either that or he's
Mm-hmm.
deliberately manipulating you. You don't do your own research because you don't really believe the shit. That's the reason why we can't even have discussions about these topics, because you fucks are so deluded and you can't possibly be challenged. You can't possibly have anybody actually counter what you clowns believe, because
Yeah.
you can't handle the truth. So now, what is the real root of your anti-abortion beliefs? You can't say it's because God is against it, because how do you know that? Did God come and tell you? Because, hey, Kev,
Yeah.
why don't you call God right now, and then he can fucking come down here. He can come on the show and we can have a whole conversation about all this shit right now. So we can
Yeah.
clear things up.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Why don't we bring Muhammad too in there and get
yeah,
all the fucking deities in there, right?
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because there's like what 30, 40,000 denominations of
That's crazy.
Christianity.
That's amazing.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. Why is that? I don't even know why that is. It all sounds the same to me. Honestly, I
It's
gotta be honest.
because they all have their own view, their own interpretation of the dogma of the theology.
Mm.
So as a result, they all can just make up whatever the fuck.
Yep.
And if their God was so real, if Jesus was so real, he could come down at any time and clear it all up so that there's only one denomination. Because
Right.
if we're trying to be on the same page about some shit, why would we want to be on different pages? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if we're all supposed to be one people, one group of God's people, why would he want us to believe different things? Why would he want to leave it to our flawed interpretation? Because according to them, we're imperfect, we're sinful, we're all of that, we're dirty, we're doomed to hell. Why would he leave it to our interpretation? Why wouldn't God just tell us
Yep.
directly, hey, this is what I meant, this is what I intended, so we should do it like this?
Yeah.
No, it's you clowns who are in your own delusions, who try and strive so hard to believe your delusions that you will go this far to enforce your bullshit beliefs on all the rest of us. And the time has come that I throw that shit in your fucking face. And I know a whole lot of y'all, the Christian liberals, the Christian leftists are gonna disagree with that, even though they're against, you know, a lot of y'all that are pro-choice and still Christian. But like your beliefs are bullshit. See, at the end of the day, the reason why we as establishment exiles exist is because facts should not be debatable. Opinions should be debatable. Hey, you know what? I don't like that shirt. I don't like that hat you got on, Kev. But it's a fact that you have a shirt on. It's a fact that you have a hat on. We're not going to sit here and have a debate about whether or not you have a shirt, whether or not you have a hat. Because now, if I'm going to argue that, I'm delusional. And if I'm going to argue that, I would want Kev to call me out on that, because that's some fucking bullshit. Yep. And so, with this Roe v. Wade decision, even if I'm not the biggest fan of abortion, even if, you know, I might be like, oh, you know, we shouldn't be supporting abortion, we shouldn't be having abortions. We know that it is a necessary procedure to ensure the quality of health of women. And the fact that these goofy ass, straight up delusional ass right wingers are pushing this bullshit for their own delusions, the buck has to stop here. This is why I am so strongly anti-religious, because it's time that we spread education, that we spread truth, that we actually get people to understand that you are full of shit. You, yes, you. If you are a theist, if you are a Christian, if you are one of these people, you're full of shit. You're full of shit. And if you're not, if you really think you're correct, then prove your points.
Yep.
Prove your point. If God really said this shit, believes this shit, intends this shit, why don't you tell his weak ass to come here and tell us to our fucking faces that that's what the fuck he meant? How about that? Tell us that's... Fuck what you say. Tell him to tell us. Tell him to come here and tell us that he really is anti-abortion, that he's anti all of this culture and all of this gay marriage and all of this contraception. Tell him to tell us to our faces. And not just me and Kev. I'm talking about the whole world.
Yeah.
Because all of these different fools, all these different theists, all these different religious people have all these different views and beliefs. But this fool, if he was so real, he could clear all of this up right now.
Yeah.
And we won't
where's the accountability?
Yeah.
There's no accountability. Anytime you hear any of these Christian religious, you know, theology, pro-theology type people come out here, they just preach this shit as if it's like complete, it's like facts. Like they're just speaking facts right there. Like, okay, so where are your facts? Oh, it's the Bible. Well, but who wrote the Bible though? Oh, I don't know. Some guy, some dude.
Exactly. And it's not even some dude. It's a bunch of random ass dudes who didn't understand that germs existed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? A bunch of nameless ass, random ass, ignorant ass dudes that didn't understand that leprosy was like a virus, was like a disease that can actually be treated, because they didn't understand what germs were. This is why they believed in spirits and demons and stupid shit like that, because they didn't understand that, hey, people actually suffer from mental health issues, that people suffer from actual health issues of various kinds, which is the reason why the healthcare system now has gotten so much better. Or should I say, I shouldn't say the healthcare system, but
Right.
medicine is what I should say, because the healthcare
Yeah.
system is fucking trash. But
Yeah.
modern medicine specifically has improved so much because we're actually doing the research. We're actually doing the experiments to learn and understand what's going on with the human body and how, germs and viruses and diseases and conditions affect us. So
Yeah.
I'm going to basically close by saying we live in a time where it is being exposed how ignorant people are, how they think that going to church and believing some stupid shit is somehow not only like morally superior, but like actually justified. And that's bullshit.
Yeah.
That's ignorant, it's petulant,
Yeah.
and it is destructive to our society. And that's what we're seeing. They're actively destroying our society with their delusional nonsense. They can't demonstrate any truth of any of their claims at
Nope.
all. They never could, and they never will, because it's bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not backed up by any kind of facts. It's not backed up by any kind of evidence. I mean, ask a fucking creationist. A creationist is gonna come out there and be like, the dinosaurs lived with all the fucking cavemen. Like, but where's your evidence of that though? Whereas if you ask a scientist will be like, okay, we took these soil samplings, we took this, a little bit of this, and we combined it with this and that, and then we came to this conclusion. It's math. It's essentially
Yeah,
math. One plus
yeah,
one equals two.
for real.
And
You
yeah,
could take classes and actually learn the
right,
methodology. You could actually learn the strategies and the experimentation, the history. But
right,
no, because they have to believe their delusions, they're just going to say, no, it's wrong because the Bible said this, the Bible said that. Fuck your
yeah,
Bible.
yeah,
It's wrong.
yeah,
Totally, completely, and utterly wrong. That's
yeah,
why it's bullshit. That's why, as we talked about on the last episode, be- belief in theism is at a record low. And I'm here to ensure that
yep,
record low gets even lower to zero, because there is simply no reason to believe some nonsense like that unless you're suffering from a mental disorder, straight like that. And even then,
mm,
we should be pushing to actually educate and help people of all kinds with mental disorders.
for sure.
We got, CRISPR technology getting better and better. Cas9,
Yeah,
CRISPR Prism or whatever. We're getting to the point of actually understanding the human genome, genetics,
yeah,
understanding why we suffer these different conditions, why we suffer from Alzheimer's, why we suffer from,
right,
cystic fibrosis and the genes that, affect all of those things. That only happens through research, experimentation, education, not pulling bullshit out of your ass and reading the same old book over and over and over again, thinking you're about to find some new shit in the same old ancient garbage. Not gonna
yeah,
happen. You're not gonna learn nothing. And all these people that want to say, "Oh, it's the end times, the end times." If it's the end times, it's because of y'all. Because y'all are trying to bring it about. So if you want to play that game, well, then I'm the Antichrist. I'm the Antichrist right
yeah,
here.
yeah,
I will declare right now, I am the Antichrist. Because we have to stop this bullshit. Y'all are
yeah.
full of shit, and it's time to show that your faith, the only reason you have faith is because you can't demonstrate it. Otherwise, you wouldn't need to believe it. You'd be able to demonstrate it, and we wouldn't have to believe it. It'd just be true.
So let me play devil's advocate. So I mean, obviously,
That's appropriate. That's
yeah, I know,
apropos.
right? Yeah. No, but let me just say, because I'm like, I want to at least demonstrate some sort of opposite um point of view. And I'm not religious. I'm an agnostic. I'm an agnostic atheist, basically. I'm not like, I don't really like, I don't, if people have their beliefs, they have their beliefs. Just don't push it on me and then we're good, But I don't
That's the
believe in religion. Yeah.
problem.
Yeah, that's the
Oh,
problem though, right? But yeah, that's just kind of how I look at it. I mean, I think the fact that you've been raised, because you've been raised in religion, and you're, like you said, you have churches all over your area, so you're going to be a lot, against that, a lot more against that than maybe I am. And I just I haven't had the I haven't had to go through the situation where I've had that pushed on me, essentially. Now, to be fair, my parents were raised Muslim. My mom was, little less on that than my dad was. My dad was a little bit more on that kick than my mom. Um, and but to play the devil's advocate, I would say that, like, when it comes to the whole idea of faith, is it possible that the faith is what people use to, like, get them through, like, hard times? So, for example, living in your neighborhood, right? There's a lot of crime. Unfortunately, there's a lot of, you know, shootings happening, gang situations. Do people use faith like that to, like, get them through those hard times? And do you think that's like that's good? Do you think that's a good thing? Do you think it's a bad thing? Are you neutral? What do you think on that? What is your take on that?
well, to answer your first question, yes, they do use faith to get through hard times. People also use drugs and alcohol
Yeah.
and, you know, all types of harmful things. And to answer your subsequent question, no, I don't think it's a good thing out. In fact, I think it is one of the biggest things that is destroying the world, the entire world.
Mm,
Faith,
mm,
because all faith is believing something that you have no evidence for.
mm,
Now, when we discuss faith, we're not talking about having faith in yourself or having faith in
mm,
your spouse or significant other. We're not. That's a different context. Okay, we're talking about believing
mm,
in an ideology that is baseless. Now, there are studies that show that, like, you know, those type of people are happier. Those type of people can even live longer.
yeah.
Believe in some bullshit. And that's a placebo effect.
Mm,
That's a placebo effect because at the end of the day, reality is reality.
mm,
You know what I'm saying? There are plenty of cases where the opposite is true, where because of your belief, people have lost their lives because they have faith. You know what I'm saying? I forget the
right.
dude's name. Jamie something. There's this pastor. Uh this was a famous story too. I could probably pull it up, but um long story short, there's this pastor that was handling dangerous snakes
Mm,
and poisonous snakes. He would get
mm,
bitten and refuse medical treatment.
okay.
I would like you to guess what happened.
Oh, he got bit and then probably died.
Yes, 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 that's exactly what happened. He got bit, he refused medical treatment, and he fucking died. Why? Because he felt, oh, I'm covered by the blood of Christ, which is
Yeah.
absurd. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, that's absurd. If you
Yeah.
really believe that, then you're an idiot. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
Okay? And this is coming from somebody who used to be a Christian. I was a Christian.
Right.
Okay? So the point I'm making is that faith is dangerous because when you take people with mental disorders or just people who are just misinformed, you
Yeah.
give them this bullshit theology that has all these conflicting ideas and moral values. You
Right.
create a fucking scene where people will commit all types of untold actions,
Right.
unspeakable, disgusting harms to various people. And if you look at history, since Christianity's inception, you just stick into Christianity. We ain't even got to go to Islam or any of the other religions, just Christianity. I don't know, billions of people throughout history have lost their lives as a result of this bullshit. You had the Crusades,
Yep.
you know what I'm saying? You had the fucking, obviously you had slavery,
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? Which is one of the main reasons why my people are so strongly religious. It disgusts me. It disgusts me. And then, just in real life, all types of religious people have suffered at the hands of others, many of them who also believe the same faith. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, we need to push rationality. Okay? Rationality, education, logic, reason. I took logic in college, and that had a huge impact on why I'm non-religious, because I went to a Christian college. Despite it being a Christian college, I got a great education. And so while I'm studying the Bible, I'm studying logic as well. And I didn't even get great grades in logic. But it was so fascinating studying this concept of logic that it made me realize why people subscribe to these bullshit ideologies, whether you're talking about religion, scams, cults, all that shit.
Yeah.
Well, religions are cults to me, but
yeah, they are. Well, obviously, yeah.
Well, it's not obvious because people will try to separate the two, and it's like
it's obvious to us. It's obvious to us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But it's like it's difficult to try to be rational when you're not taught how to think. We're not taught critical thinking, and that is to me, that is the number one problem of the world. We do not emphasize critical thinking. We do not emphasize people being taught how to think and how to reason, how to rationalize. And going back to the religion thing, that's one of the main reasons why women have had to fight so hard for their rights, because religion, particularly Christianity, emphasized the subjugation of women. They don't like women having positions of power, having autonomy, being able to do what they want.
I agree.
And it's so sad because Black women in particular are among the most religious people in our country.
Yeah, we spoke about that.
Yeah, exactly. And it saddens me, like, damn near almost every Black woman I know is Christian. They always talk about praising Jesus and the Lord this and Jesus that. And it's like, I get it because Black women have suffered a lot throughout history. But that's even more reason for them to stay away for ideologies like this that tell them that they ain't shit, that they need this man who doesn't even exist. It's no wonder these women fall for these niggas that ain't shit, that don't end up being in their life and their kids' life. Because the religion teaches them to think that way. To love some nigga who ain't even there. Where's Jesus been at this whole time? All these fucking people who suffer at the hands of others. Jesus don't be coming down to stop the bullet, to stop the car from hitting you, to stop the bus from hitting you, and stopping the cancer and all that type of shit.
Nope.
It takes so much more than believing nonsense to have, a great quality of life. We need sensible people working together to spread education, logic, reason, fact-based evidence and science, technology, education, mathematics, engineering.
Yeah.
That's what's going to get us the future that we want. Not believing some nonsense that some random ass dude or some random ass chick is purporting that they can't possibly demonstrate. That's why they always like to play these word games. Well, how do you know? It's just your opinion. How is it my opinion that God doesn't exist? If he exists, show me. All you have to do is show me. There's
never proof. There's no proof.
There's
you never see it.
Well, can you prove? You can't prove that he doesn't exist. Yeah, I can't prove that unicorns don't exist. I can't prove that fucking whatever the fuck don't exist. I can't prove none of that. Why should I have
Yeah.
to?
Yeah.
Why should I have to? The burden of proof is on the claimant, as Matt Dillahunty likes to say. Um, so that's why all these things come together, man. Like all these different issues, they all tie. It's not even about the religion. It's not even about theology. It's about dogmatism. It's about delusional thinking. We have to stop
Yeah.
encouraging delusional thinking. We should challenge everything and everyone. If you want to make a claim about anything, you should be held to a standard. You should be held accountable to justify your claim or get the hell out of my face.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's exactly what I say when I say, as far as like, you want to believe whatever you want to believe, just don't push it on me. I don't want to hear any of that fucking noise. I don't want to hear any of that bullshit.